Good morning, everyone. If you remember yesterday, we looked a little bit at Proverbs 21:10. It said that to not be wicked, to not be a wicked person, that we are to consider our neighbor. To consider our neighbor is to not be wicked. What does that look like if we have neighbors? What does that look like to consider them? What about the people around us? What if they're in distress? What if they're in need of something? What if it's physical distress or physical need? In my life, I always justify things. I tend to look at things and weigh in my mind, if I do this, then I can't do something else. That's what goes through my mind, if I'm honest. I'm not claiming that it's an appropriate thing to do at all, but it's true. I see someone on the street or in a shelter, and I often walk by because I'm on my way to do something I think is more important. Or I want to get that cup of coffee, so I can't give away my $2.15. I always prioritize and I weigh things in my mind. Maybe you have similar thoughts sometimes. Do you ever think about those you see in physical need and think someone else can help them? Or I've even heard people in the church, I've even heard Christian people in the church say things like, if I help them, it takes the blessing away from someone else helping them. You know what that sounds like to me? Very frankly, do you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like a real churchy way of saying, I don't want to, and making an excuse. In Matthew 25, Jesus tells the crowd what it looks like to be a true person of faith. It looks like I was hungry and you fed me. It looks like I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. It looks like I was a stranger and you took me in. It looks like I was naked and you clothed me. It looks like I was sick and you took care of me. It looks like I was in prison and you visited me. And then verse 40 on down, it says, whatever you did to the least of these brothers and sisters, you did for me. Do we really understand what Jesus is speaking to our souls here? I think for me, he's speaking a word of comfort and conviction. A conviction to me saying, think of them above yourself. See a need, help a need. And the comfort is that Christ did that for me. He saw my hunger and thirst, and he fed me and gave me living water. He saw me as a stranger, and he took me in. He saw my need and my nakedness, and he gave me his clothes. He knew I was sick, and he healed me. I was in prison to my sin, and he visited me there to release me. Friends, he does the same thing for you. In times of distress, in seasons like we're in right now, the faithful responsibility that I believe that Matthew 25 is calling us to have is to be the hands and the feet of the Lord and bring the gospel of peace to them. When they are hungry, we feed them. When we are thirsty, they give us something to drink. I want to do that by helping my neighbor, by considering my neighbor with their needs. See you tomorrow as we look at an example of what that looks like in